Hey folks, it's MiraDessy, the Ingredient Guru, and I am here this morning talking with my good friend Erin Knight of Engineering Radiance. And Erin is my go-to migraine expert. She's the one that I reach out to when I need more information or really good support around headaches and migraines. Erin is also one of the hosts of the Chronic Headache and Migraine Summit. She did an awesome job, shared a ton of great information.
Right there, help. You're
Oh,
one of our special guests.
it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So why are we talking about headaches and migraines today? Well, I live in Texas, and even though, it's February, here in Texas, allergy season is already starting. As it's warming up, pollens are beginning to open up, and pretty soon that Gulf wind is just going to bring all kinds of things from all around. And I also believe, and this is why I want to talk to Erin, I want to confirm some of this as well, in the aftermath of Hurricane Harvey in this area, there may be more pollution and junk that got kicked up into the air that's going to really upset and overwhelm everybody. So Erin, what do we need to know?
More than possible. Well, a lot of people suffer with headaches, or it might even kick off a migraine. It might, it's not a traditional migraine trigger, if you will, but it can put your body in such a state of stress that you're more sensitive to the other triggers. So that's why we talk about it. But they might feel like some sinus congestion, of course, if they're getting seasonal allergies, and that's enough to, cause definitely some headaches or severe headaches like migraine. So you want to address it at the root cause if possible. You can talk about that, and then people want to know a lot of times what they can do quickly to feel better and get that under control. I used to have terrible allergies when I was younger, and I never really understood the link between systemic inflammation and allergies, in the sense of like when your body's dealing with food sensitivities or food allergies or eating a really highly processed diet or something like that, you're going to be I was more sensitive to seasonal allergies. I had them every year. And since I've, made some changes and got that under control, I really don't. Knock on wood, here and there, I might have some problems in the future, but I really have seen a shift.
And see, that's great, because I think a lot of people who struggle with allergies, their thinking is, oh, it's just allergies, there's nothing I can do. And it's kind of the same thing with headaches, I think, and this is part of why, you and I talk a lot of when I need more information or to try and learn more. A lot of people don't really understand that there is a root cause to headaches, and that by figuring out what those triggers are, whether it's allergy or whether it's your food or whether there are some other things metabolically that are going on, you can change those things and reduce your headache profile very significantly.
Yeah, completely. And let's talk about antihistamines, for example, because that's the first thing I used to reach for, was like I would take Allegra or Claritin daily because I said, oh, well, I don't want to be sneezing and dealing with the runny eyes. I don't want to be having allergies all season, but then it would dry me up so much that I felt like I was getting headaches just from taking antihistamines because it was so drying somehow. I really didn't like taking them, but I didn't know if there was other options. And there are natural antihistamines that work really well, like quercetin, for example. It's a extract of a fruit. Like apples have a lot of natural quercetin, and it can be extracted to a powder or a supplement that if you take during allergy season, it works really well to just reduce your sensitivity to seasonal threats. And another thing that's along those same kinds of lines is essential oils, lemon, lavender, and peppermint, all three as a combo, either topically or some people will even take it internally, but that combination will make people less sensitive to allergies as well. It just kind of like tames the response. So that's one option, one route to go if you're just wanting to switch from taking those over-the-counter antihistamines and looking for something else. Maybe you notice the side effects or you just want to rely less on that. That's one place to start. And then another thing is like, okay, you're feeling some pressure. Is there anything you can do to help with the headache specifically, or like that sinus pressure? And there is. One thing is to kind of loosen up this acupressure point, and not just at the webbing here, but like deeper into your thumb joint between your finger and
So like right
massaging into
there.
there. Yeah, it's pretty can be tender with like eucalyptus or something like that, and that opens up the channels and the flow of the body to help with sinus pressure specifically. So that's kind of cool. And then another thing that if I felt like my whole head was congested, I would do is a self lymph drainage massage. And there's like a 5-minute technique if you just Google self lymph drainage massage. There's this famous video now that massage therapist in Indiana shows you the whole thing, but basically you're like really lightly dragging your fingers, and it's weird that would do anything, but it does. It just kind of opens it up, and before you know it, you're like swallowing and everything's like leaving your head, and it relieves the pressure.
Great,
so
though.
You know what? Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, it's good for like thunderstorm headaches because you feel like there's pressure, but also if you just feel congested from a cold or allergies, it can help drain everything out.
And the thing that I love is these are simple, easy things that you can do at home. I mean, obviously with the quercetin, or if there are other botanicals, you kind of have to have those on hand. But, you know, nowadays more and more people are keeping essential oils in their home, and who doesn't love another use for those? Like, that's great.
And you can get quercetin or nettles and things like that at Whole Foods. Like pretty in dire straits.
and the other thing is, you know, the ability to do this pressure point or the massage, those are things you can do for yourself. So that's really great. Mm-hmm. I know another thing you and I have talked about as something that helps exacerbate allergies or contributes to headaches are both food sensitivities and micronutrient deficiencies. And so I know you and I have talked, but if you can share a little bit more about some of the work that you do with people when you're looking at their food intolerance issues or looking at their micronutrients.
Yeah, absolutely. To kind of circle back to what I was saying at the beginning, just like the shifts that I've seen over the years from season to season, things, you know, for me getting better and for people that I work with longer term, it's looking at some of those deeper issues that are causing inflammation. So I think if you can lower the total level in your body, you're not going to be as reactive to external things, whether that's migraine triggers like bright lights or something like that, but also allergy triggers like pollen and things like that. So your body is just more balanced and less reactive if you look at some of the underlying things. That could be food intolerances. So maybe somebody has a real sensitivity to gluten like I did, and that was causing just daily chronic stress on my whole body. And you need to get, you know, you can either just take it out because we know it's not good for a lot of people, or you can get tested to see if it's a problem. Or also, you know, a lot of times I talk to people who have had frequent headaches for years and years, and they've ended up taking a lot of Advil, which we know now that really destroys your gut lining. Yeah. And I think that was something that contributed to my own issues, where at one point I was reacting, I had did a food sensitivity panel. I was reacting to almost everything except for like 10 foods.
Oh no.
Broccoli and pork and like all these like supposed healthy foods. My immune system thought they were foreign invaders. So my immune system was just on overdrive. And therefore, you know, it's a different part of the immune system than seasonal allergies, but I think overall it wasn't functioning very well. Yeah. So that's one piece of the puzzle to kind of calm everything down. And then, what do you say? Food. Oh yeah. Micronutrient testing can be helpful to bring everything into balance, because if you're chronically deficient in, you know, certain vitamins or minerals, then your body's just not going to be functioning optimally. Something's definitely off, and it's hard to know exactly what that is, especially we have access to a lot of supplements, and I see people taking a ton of supplements, or, you know, taking this or that, trial and error for a month here, it doesn't do anything, then they switch and take something else for a month, and they get kind of frustrated that they keep taking things and they don't know what's working or not working. So the cool thing about micronutrient testing is that you're looking back over 4 to 6 months of what your body's really been able to use and what it's really missing, and then get a clear sense of what I need and what I don't need.
Sure.
To really replete a personalized list of deficiencies instead of all this trial and error. So it's another thing I help people do to just, create balance.
And that's exactly what I was going to say is, so once you know what people are deficient in, or what they're responding to, you can go through and begin to modify the diet so that they're eating in an optimal fashion to support health and wellness. And bonus, hopefully we have less allergies, less headaches, and so overall that's a really good thing.
And then, I mean, that's if you want to get specific in testing, and that's usually what I help people do, but also just on a more general sense, we all know there's like inflammatory foods, like processed food, sugar, vegetable oils, et cetera, dairy. And we might not all be 100% perfect about avoiding those all of the time. Sometimes you might fall off the wagon a little bit, and that happens. But if you're somebody who's like really struggling with seasonal allergies, then that's the time to focus and give it a good effort, because we know that's one way to help the body be less stressed out and less inflamed by eating a really clean anti-inflammatory diet. So that's one thing. Another just free simple thing you can start doing if you're suffering, just start paying attention to what you're eating and really focus on whole foods.
And I love that, because I talk to people about that all the time. It's not just what you eat, it's what's in what you eat, and looking at really reading those labels, cleaning up the diet, and removing all those processed ingredients that have no nutritional value whatsoever and really don't contribute to overall health and wellness. So
yeah, absolutely. And you may not be perfect 365 days a year, but if you're in a season where you're especially prone, maybe in the summertime, you're especially prone to thunderstorm headaches, or in the spring, you're especially prone to these allergy problems, then that's when you want to give it your all, your focused attention to do a good effort on that.
So if someone who's watching this, would like to connect with you deeper, because they're like, oh my gosh, I have headaches, I need to talk to this woman, where would they find you? Like, how could they connect with you?
Yeah, of course. So my website is Engineering Radiance, and you're also welcome to just ping me on Facebook and we can have a chat. But usually I recommend people start with a case review. So a lot of people who've had headaches or migraines for a while have been to a lot of different specialists, whether they're natural or neurologists, et cetera, had a lot of testing done, and they feel like they've just already run out of options. They feel like they've tried everything. So I offer, and I've tried everything, case review, so we can really talk about what you've tried and then talk about some of these other functional tests, which most of the time people may not even have been exposed to yet. So we can talk about how that would help you personally, and figure out which ones are going to be a good use of, an investment, and then also talk about natural relief right from the get-go. We can look at what you're usually doing, what you may have tried, or maybe some things that you haven't tried, and try to build like a good list to get you started feeling better in the meantime, while you're still looking at the deeper level. So that's like what we call a case review. It's a good way to get started. It's just one meeting, and then we'll go from there and figure out what you need. And actually, we have a special offer for our listeners today, since Mira was guest on our summit last year. If anybody books here in the next 48 hours their own case review, then we're going to throw in free access to the Migraine Summit.
Awesome.
Just for
that's a great, that's a
and
great
it gives you this huge library of resources to start really digging in and understanding some of this functional perspective. Also, we have a co-speaker, Nikki Gratrix, who talked about emotional trauma and the links with migraines and headaches, and Mira talked about ingredients that you really need to avoid, like certain preservatives and stuff like that. So it gives you basically 30 extra consults with different specialists and practitioners, who share what they need, and then you can talk to me and my team about what you need too. So there you go.
Cool way to get started. Sounds like a great thing. Well, thank you so much. That's awesome. And so I will put some links down below, and we'll be able to share that information with you so that folks can learn more and help resolve some of their headache issues, and hopefully have a much less painful allergy season ahead.
Yeah, hopefully. No reason to suffer.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for joining us, Erin. And folks, thanks for being here. Please click like, share down below, because we'd love to get the word out. And stay tuned. We'll be back with more stuff as we move forward. Bye now.
Thank you.